Lena is isolated and many scientists are standing around her. A scientist tells her that the team had rations only for 2 weeks and that you have been here for 4 months. Lena says I might be isolated here for some days or weeks. The scientist asks her about her teammates Josie Roddick, Cass Shepard, Anya, and Ventress. Lena tells him Shepard is dead and I don't know what happened to the rest. The scientist says tell us what you know, and the story goes back to where we see a meteor falling to Earth. Lena is a biology professor lecturing her class about cells, and how one cell develops into another. She tells them the cell they are looking at came from a tumor, and in the next term they will learn about cancer cells in vitro. Outside, Dan stops her and asks about lunch, but Lena turns him down, saying, I have to paint my bedroom. He tells her it's been a year since we haven't met and it's not a lie that will hurt your husband's memory, but Lena leaves. Lena's husband, an Army Special Forces soldier named Kane who has been missing for the past year. Lena remembers her past and starts crying. She starts to paint the room and suddenly Kane returns home. Lena is surprised to see him and hugs him. Lena then tells him that no one in your unit knows where you've been and asks about the mission, but Kane says that he doesn't know anything. Lena questions him about how long he has been back, but Kane doesn't know anything except that he is here. Lena sits with him, and as Kane drinks the water, Lena sees the blood in the glass. In the ambulance, a lot of blood flows from Kane's mouth, and then some cars stop their ambulance. Special forces come to take Kane, and when Lena tries to stop them, they inject her. Lena wakes up in an isolation room at the Southern Reach facility, and a woman named Dr. Ventress comes to see her. Ventress is a psychologist. She asks Lena, "You served in the military," but she becomes angry and asks her about her husband. Ventress says, "When did your husband come and did he contact you before he came?" And Lena tells her that I have no idea where he was and why he went. Tells him that your husband is here and is very sick due to multiple organ failure. To which Lena says that maybe he got sick due to some kind of radiation or some kind of virus. Lena sees a wall of shimmer outside the facility, and Ventress says it is from extraterrestrials. She tells Lena it started around 3 years ago and they sent many teams, but no one returned except from the last team only your husband returned. Shimmer boundaries are getting bigger and bigger every day, and it's eating into barely populated swampland. Lena sees her husband who is dying, and Ventress tells her, "We will do an agreement with you." In the past, Lena and Kane were talking, and Kane told her, "I will go on a mission, so you have to see me in the sky," which she didn't take seriously. In the facility, when Lena is looking at the shimmer, a girl named Anya comes and introduces herself. Anya introduces Lena to her crew: Cassie, a geomorphologist testing magnetic fields around the boundary, and Anya, a paramedic from Chicago. Josie, a physicist, only been here for 2 months, and Cassie tells her they're going inside the shimmer with Ventress. Lena goes to Ventress and asks to take her inside the shimmer because she can't do anything for Kane here, and Ventress agrees. The scientist asks her why you requested the mission after knowing that no one survived before, and Lena tells him she went inside to save her husband. Cassie, Ventress, Josie, and Lena go inside the shimmer, while we see Lena having sex with Dan. Lena wakes up in the camp and joins the other, and she says, "I didn't remember anything" after they cross the tree line. Cassie says, "We've been out here for at least 3 or 4 days, while Josie tells them all the electronic things are working, but the signal device is down, so they can't send any message out. Their compass is also not working, and Cassie says, "We head south, we hit the ocean to reach the lighthouse where the shimmer started." The party moves forward and reaches the lake, where they see an abandoned house, and everyone starts their work. Lena sees the flowers and tells Ventress they're growing from the same branch structure, but they are stuck in a continuous mutation. She plucks a flower for the sample, and suddenly something grabs Josie inside the room. They run to save her and get her out of the water, and outside they see a mutated alligator. It comes out from the water and attempts to attack them, but Lena fires at it and kills the alligator. They open the alligator's mouth, and Lena sees the same mutation as the flowers, which makes its teeth more sharp and strong. Lena tells the scientist the mutations were subtle at first, but more extreme as we grew closer to the lighthouse. Those mutations kept duplicating everything, and the scientist says it might be hallucinations, and Lena says, "We thought the same before, but the reality was something else." They proceed in the river by boat, and Cassie asks Lena, "Where did you learn to shoot?" Lena tells her, "I served 7 years in the army." Cassie asks about her relationship, and Lena says her husband was in the army too, but now he is equipped. Cassie tells her, "I had a daughter, but she died due to leukemia." They reach an abandoned headquarters of the Southern and see more mutations like tumors. Ventress leads them to the old mess house, where they see beds and bags, and Ventress tells them the last team were camped there. Lena sees soldiers' names on the board, including Kane, and then seeing the map, Lena says perhaps these soldiers used to guard here. Ventress finds a memory card on the table and asks Josie to play it on the camera. Jossie plays the video and they see soldiers holding a sick soldier, and Kane cuts open his stomach, which has a huge worm inside. Lena becomes nervous to see this, and Anya closes the camera, telling others the last group went insane and the worm isn't real. They go to the pool area where they see that the two men's corpses have mutated fungus, and when Jossie tells them to leave, Ventress says we'll spend the night here and move on tomorrow. Lena remembers when Kane tells her he is going to the mission, and she wakes up. She checks the samples and sees the cells are mutating, and then she goes to check on Ventress. Ventress shows her the map and indicates that they will head south tomorrow, and suddenly they hear a growling sound. The base's perimeter fence is torn open, and the other girls also join them for the guard. A large bear attacks Cassie and takes her away, while the team runs to save her, but it's too late for them. The next morning, Josie and Anya argue with Ventress to abandon the mission because they attacked twice. Ventress doesn't want to go back until she reaches the lighthouse and leaves, saying, "I will go on my own." Anya asks Lena why didn't join us, and she tells him that it will take us 6 days to get back, so we have to go to the coast to get out of Shimmer. The scientist says you lie to them, and she explains going back isn't safer, so I decided to move ahead. On the way, they see Cassie's bot, and Lena goes to check on her, thinking she might be alive. She sees the mutated deer, and Lena investigates further alone, finds Cassie's dead body ripped apart by the bear. She returns to the team and tells them that Cass is dead. The group is freaked out and wants to return, which Ventress does not agree to. Ventress is determined to understand the source of the Shimmer. Lena argues that they are 6 days into the Shimmer, and at this point, it would be faster to reach the coast and then follow it to the perimeter. As the team continues toward the lighthouse at the center of the Shimmer, they find a settlement filled with human-shaped plants. Josie hypothesizes that the Shimmer functions as a prism, distorting and transforming everything that falls within its boundaries, like light waves, radio waves, plant DNA, human DNA, and so on, including the expedition members' own DNA. That night, Lena tests her own blood, which confirms Josie's theory. After spend love moments with Dan, Lena asks him to go, in which Dan tells her that you are not feeling bad for betrayal, but the feelings inside you making you feel this. That night, a paranoid Anya attacks and restrains Lena, Josie, and Ventress. She has discovered that Kane was Lena's husband and accuses the group of killing Cass. Anya hears what sounds like Cass screaming for help outside and investigates. The creature that killed Cass enters the house, and the screams are coming from the creature. It kills Anya and attacks Lena before Josie shoots and kills the creature. Ventress leaves the group and heads for the lighthouse, the center of the Shimmer. Josie believes Cassie's dying mind was refracted into the bear, and laments that the only piece left of Cassie was the pain and fear she experienced while being killed. She allows herself to succumb to the Shimmer and refract into a humanoid plant, hoping to avoid a similar fate. Lena follows Ventress to the lighthouse, where she discovers Kane's remains and a videotape. In the footage, Kane leaves an instruction to find Lena before killing himself with a phosphorus grenade. After the explosion, a doppelganger of Kane steps into frame. Lena descends into the hole and finds Ventress, who tells her the forces at work will spread to encompass everything. Ventress disintegrates into a glowing nebulous structure that absorbs a drop of blood from Lena's face and creates a humanoid entity that mimics Lena's every motion and eventually transforms into an identical copy of her. Lena exploits its mimicking behavior to set an active phosphorus grenade in its hands before fleeing. The creature is set ablaze by the grenade. Flames fully engulf the lighthouse, the various constructs in the area collapse, and the Shimmer fades away. Lena's debriefing concludes. She reunites with Kane, who has recovered rapidly from the disappearance of the Shimmer. She asks him whether he is the real Kane, to which he replies, "I don't think so." He asks her if she is Lena, to which she does not respond. The two embrace as their irises shimmer and shift in color. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more videos like this.